Dun, 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 pew. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Non-emotional Drew is alive again. I'm not crying in talking about my life. Now you guys can just ask whatever you want. I don't care what it is, but the tweet has been sent. YouTube Studio has been beaten to submission, and we are ready to stream. It's been, I think, exactly 1 week since the last one. I'm okay doing this once a week. Oh yeah, I forgot. I turned on the Wi-Fi in my OnePlus. Oh my god, it was bad. Why do so many people still follow me on Apple Music? I don't get that. Like, what are they watching? Oh my god. Look, like, I left the Wi-Fi off on the OnePlus 8 for about a solid month, and then I turned it on. The notifications it got, my goodness, just endless Apple Music notifications about this person started following you, this person started following you, this person started. Like, why is that even a thing? I didn't even download Apple Music on here. I guess I did. Now I don't need it anymore, I suppose. I gotta luckily there's a clear all button, so I can just use that. Hello, Ian, Ridestack, Noah, Pink, Justin, Sergio. Cool guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What a cool username. Who thought of that one? Are those numbers special to you? Let's try to open Fortnite here. Let's see what happens. Oh, open Google Play. No! Sergio asked, how did I meet my wife? At college. It was like a forced meet and greet type thing. That's the sucky thing, is I kind of hate school and going to college. I despised it and I didn't enjoy it. And yet I got the best thing in my entire life out of it, which is my wife. I did technically meet her at community college. If I didn't go to that stupid meet and greet thing, which I almost didn't because it sounded really awkward and cringy to go to a group of a bunch of kids, they literally required us to get, I want to say it was like a forced singles night or something, but that's really not what it was. It was kind of like a talk to this many people and figure out what their majors are. And I would always joke in retelling the story that they required us to get their phone numbers. That wasn't true. They didn't make us ask that. But that's what it felt like. Because for whatever reason, actually, the College Connections program, for those who don't know, is essentially you're spending your last year of high school at a community college. So you finish your high school units or credits or whatever it is, whatever the school points are, because education is a game, right? You rake up points and credits over time, and then you unlock level 3, which is a bachelor's degree. I don't know how it works, but it was a mandatory thing. I remember because Louise did not have any classes that day. It was a Friday. I think it was September 5th, 2015, September 5th or 4th or 6th, somewhere in there. It was early September. We're coming up on our 5-year meetiversary. And she didn't have any classes that day. She was just there because it was part of the College Connections program that it was like you have to show up, you have to meet other people, and you can't talk to people from your own class. You have to, she was from one school and I was from a different school. And she came up to me and said, "You look like Ron Weasley." And she had actually already met my buddy Ross, who tunes into these videos sometimes. He's in the Air Force now. He's probably my best friend. Easily my best friend. Me and him go way, way back. We literally met as babies. But yeah, it was, he was there. He already met Louise and he was kind of ready to go. And I was kind of ready to go too. Me and Ross were kind of like, okay, we talked to people. We wrote down the stuff. Let's go. We were on our way out. And then Louise stopped me and was like, "Hey, you look like Ron Weasley." I was like, "And you look like my wife." That was the first thing I said. No. I introduced myself and we started chatting and we couldn't stop chatting and Ross was ready to go, but I didn't want to go because I was flirting so much with Louise. Day one, it was instant flirts. Louise admitted later that she saw me as a friend for the first 3 weeks, and I told her that I saw her as girlfriend material like the second I met her. Yeah, so that's the story. Can we get an EV podcast late this week? Not likely. I think everyone's busy. Randy's working, Nick is working, and I'm working. It's very, very difficult to get all of our schedules aligned. Nick obviously was busy last week. That's why I wasn't there. He was busy being dead, but that would be so not funny if Nick ended up dying this week. Man, don't die on us, Nick, for multitudes of reasons. Mostly because this live stream would suddenly become very awkward and ironic. Other than that, it would also be sad if Nick died, so let's hope that doesn't happen. Education is just a game. Getting my master's currently. There you go, Gamer Mike. Model Y Mike. Yeah, it was his 4 singles night. College is so much better than high school. Yeah, it's shorter. At least in my experience. Consider I've only been enrolled in one college. It was a community college. It's not known for being the best of one. So I probably didn't have the best college experience, but I felt like the system in place of like you have to take these courses or these classes, that was more of what I had an issue with. It wasn't a problem of, the campus wasn't big enough or the program wasn't good enough. It was just the overall idea of it was what I wasn't about. Yeah, Gamer Mike, because I know your name is Mike and your username is Gamer Ike, so I put Gamer Mike there. That's where I got it. Can you say a big hello to my fiance Isabel? We're kidding. Married next August. Oh, congratulations, Daniel. Hello to fiance Isabel. Congratulations. You must be a very, very lucky woman because Daniel is willing to make his profile picture the color yellow. So you know he looks good. That's just a fact. Congratulations. Man. I've been an Apple sheep for a while, but I've been looking at Androids. What do you think about them? Well, I have several on my desk here. I own more Androids than iPhones right now, which is kind of weird. Androids are okay. It's more of a personal preference thing to me. I don't like the Google Play Store as much, and I don't like the user interface of Android as much. It feels more clunky. It feels more jittery compared to iOS. The devices don't get as many years of software support, but you can get some really good hardware. I mean, the Pixel 4a is like really decent hardware for $350. This thing's pretty solid. The camera's decent. The display's awesome. Battery's pretty good. I like that it's USB-C. I can't even say that about my iPhone. So they've always got new Androids coming out. There's a lot to choose from compared to iOS, where you pretty much just have the iPhone once a year, and that's it. But software matters more than hardware, I think. So Drew's going to go all Android for 1 year. Not next year. I didn't say when I was going to do it. I just said someday, considering I've only been doing YouTube full-time for about 3 years now. So we're still in the very early days of Tailosive. If there is going to be a long-term, I still consider it possible that I'm going to lose the channel, or YouTube policies will change, or copyright strikes will take me down. All numbers of things that could happen that would result in this not being my job anymore. But if it is my job long-term, one day I would love to do a long-term test like that, just to see if I eventually grow to like it, or eventually grow used to it and not liking iOS, or something like that will change. I don't know. Hey, Nick's in the chat. I'm glad you're alive. We've resurrected him successfully. Awesome. What is the background music you use in your videos called? So for the tech one, let me pull up the official name here. Randy made it. I don't think he's posted it anywhere else, though. He just kind of sent it to me, and he said, this is for Tailosive Tech. You can use it however you like. He called it 20-minute loop Tailosive Tech background music. That's the official name. I wonder if you guys could hear it if I started playing it. You could probably hear that. So that's for the tech channel. And then a fan, I forget who. It was a long time ago. A fan sent me a song from 2017. I don't believe, he never asked for credit. It was way back, I think back in the Attic days, someone made this song called the Apple Sheep Swing, and that's what we used for EV, ironically. I don't know why we used it for EV. We just thought that the EV videos and the EV podcast should get different music, separate from the Tailosive Tech music, and that's I'm playing it now. Here we go. It starts off kind of quiet. He incorporated the he incorporated the Apple startup sound in the beginning of the song, which I thought was cool. But ironically, we use Apple Sheep Swing for the EV channel. Hey, Clapdragon's in the chat. For those who don't know, I'm about to out him. Clapdragon is Wyatt. And he's saying, "Have you ever had a dream that you want to want them to do so much you could do anything?" Which is guaranteed to get Wyatt to laugh. It is impossible for him to watch that clip without laughing. Now that I've said that, he's probably going to try to prove to me that he can do it. He'll send me a video later of him just watching it without breaking a smirk. Just a little bit of one. Look who's alive. Scott's not happy that Nick is alive. Love what you're doing, my favorite techie. But thanks, Jan. You're my favorite fan that's named Jan. Every other fan that's named Jan. Clapdragon's like, no, I'm laughing. It's official. Sky, thank you for the super chat. Said, did you ever just slurp mayonnaise packets like the Go-Gurt tube? No, I can't say I have. But I like the assumption that more people other than you do that. That there's more people out there, possibly. Oh, you meant my older videos, actually? I think I still have the files for those. Sorry, Jordan. It's a royalty-free song. I believe there was a website. I don't know if it's still up. It was called Incomputech that had royalty-free music that anyone could just download and use. And I think for a long time I used this song called Zigzag. Yeah. You guys remember that one. And then before that, it was something else. And I'm trying to remember what it was called. You know what? I have every song I ever wrote. Oh, I think it was Danger Storm. Now I'm going to get a bunch of copyright claims on this because it turns out, oh, it's not royalty free anymore. Oh, well. Chris Norton, thank you for the super chat. He said hello. You missed that song. Oh, well. That's okay. I like the new music. Nostalgia. Absolutely. Any upcoming guests for the podcasts? Not really. Nick might come on as a guest. Maybe next week. We'll see. But no, we like I've said previously, that's the only time in the week me, Nick, and Randy get to all catch up and just kind of talk to each other. So if we had guests on, we kind of have to stop talking to each other and start listening to someone else. And we've had guests on before, but I don't know. It just typically when you have a guest on a show, you have to kind of build the show around them and you have to ask them a bunch of questions. And maybe it's just me constantly answering a bunch of tech questions, but maybe I'm just kind of getting sick of. I don't want to come up with questions for other people. I just want to talk to Nick and Randy because they're my friends. Oh, my OnePlus 8 system update is ready. Time to reboot. Let's see. Randy should remix that song for you. Oh, maybe if he remixed it. I don't know. I think Randy's got a lot on his plate as is. I'm fine with the music he made. It sounds cool. Which would you want to be verified on Twitter after the hack? Not exactly. I mean, I think people overhype and over-exaggerate how big a deal it is to get verified on Twitter. I used to look into it. I used to be like, man, how do I figure that? How do I get approved? How do I find someone? You know, how do I contact the right person? And I realized it's literally just like clout. It's just a check mark. That's it for bragging rights. You just get to be like, I'm more official. I'm cool. Maybe more famous people will respond to me if they see that I'm verified. And I'm like, who cares? I don't need anyone's attention. It's fine. If you follow me, great. If you don't follow me, fine. I don't care. Who bothers? I'll see if I can be the largest social media what's the largest unverified Twitter account? I need to find out who that is and try to beat them. Elon liked my tweet moments ago. I just stole seconds from his life. What? That's cool. Let me look at Elon's recently liked tweets. You tell me which one it is. I guess you could lie about this. Unless it's the same username. Let's see. You don't look like any of these people he recently liked tweets from. It's God, I think. Oh, okay. I like your chair. Where did you get it? PewDiePie, obviously. Lord and Savior. The spaceship one, not lying. Okay. You could take credit for this. Oh, you're right. X. Now I'll give you a free shout out. Elon just liked this guy's Twitter account. The Elon Musk approveth rendezvous of the universe. That's a cool picture. Did you make that? That's really cool. It's a picture of a starship flying away from a black hole, which is kind of neat. Cool. Wow. I would like that too. In fact, I'm going to right now. Someone that Elon Musk liked a tweet of is in this live stream. Holy crap. Put your face on your Twitter and brand yourself as a journalist to get a blue check mark? Nah, I don't want to. I'm not going to be a part of your system. God is the most followed unverified. Can you imagine if God got verified? Twitter's just like, yep, that's God. Confirmed. 6 million followers. And he only follows Justin Bieber. That's pretty great. God follows none one but the Biebs. Okay, I just got to get more than 6 million followers. That's it. What's the background music you used in your videos from 2017 to like early 2019? I believe it was either Zigzag or Danger Storm, the ones I played a second ago. I don't know of any other ones I've used. Yeah, basically Elon's watching this live stream as we speak. Shout out to Elon. Thank you. Let's see. How long does it take you to make a thumbnail for a video? It depends. Usually not terribly long. Typically 5 minutes. Maybe less. Sometimes more if I go a little bit too complicated with it. But I feel like more recently I've been making an effort to simplify thumbnails because I realize that, you know, you can try to fit as much stuff as you can into that thumbnail, but at the end of the day, people are only going to look at it for a few seconds. So it doesn't really make sense. With YouTube auto-playing stuff now anyway, you know, like if you hover over the thumbnail, it just starts playing the video. It's like, okay, people can only see this for a few seconds, so it doesn't make sense to really fill it with text. So I'm trying to go more minimal and simple with thumbnails, but let's see. Pretty sure that's a sign Bieber's the Antichrist. That makes sense. That's right. You ever going to do another Tailosive Talks podcast? Yeah, it's difficult now with Louise working. We used to do those when her hours were different. Nowadays, she's working longer back than when we did that podcast. So I don't know if we can bring them back. And she doesn't love being on camera, especially for long periods of time. You know, she has experience with it now, and she's not super missing it. You know, it's not that she didn't like it. It's just kind of feels like work, and she works all day, so she kind of wants to just relax at the end of it. So I could find other people to be on the podcast. We could get Clapdragon. We could get Wyatt on the podcast, and I just ask him questions, and he responds with single words every 10 minutes. That could be fun. I actually had an idea for a Saturday short. I should reach out to Wyatt, see if he can do it before this Saturday. I'm hyped for the Tenet movie, but I don't know how I'm going to watch it. Because from what I've heard, they're not releasing it online, right? They're just doing in theaters. Because I'm not going to the theater. That's a bad idea. For one, I think our theater is shut down right now. Get Viper on and just compliment Apple for an hour. Well, that does sound fun. How is your battery life on your Apple Watch now compared to when it was new? Feels the same to me. I don't notice a difference. Typically, I pretty much I can wear my watch for 2 days, and before I could wear my watch for 2 days. It says my watch says the battery health is 89%, but I haven't noticed. It might be a little bit worse than before, but honestly, I could go another year with this. Yeah, it's still at 89%. It hasn't changed. So I work in a cinema, and we start playing Tenet tomorrow. Oh, that's cool, Chris. I imagine that you kind of have to space out people in the theater. I feel like it's not a great idea. Have people going out to the movies, big rooms like that. Theaters are ranked number 1 stupid in the Corona charts. Number 1 stupid. I mean, there's probably a safe way to do it. You just make people wear Oh, but that's the thing, though. Do you have to sit in that big room with your mask on the whole time? I don't mind. I don't mind wearing a mask for short term, like when I go to the grocery store. But if I had to, Tenet's probably a long movie, right? Theaters are at 30% capacity. Well, that I kind of like. Theaters should always be at 30% capacity. I don't want to sit next to anybody. Yeah, I'm not willing to risk it. For one, I think our theater's still closed down. It's not open. So I don't want to go out to watch. I really, really, really want to watch Tenet, but I'm not willing to. I don't want to watch it that bad. I'm not willing to risk it. Everyone wears masks in the common areas, not the screens. Well, that just seems dangerous now, because now when you're eating or whatever, you can spread the Rona inside the theater. Yeah, we need more drive-in movies. That'd be a good idea. We are showing Tenet in 10 screens to space people out. Wow. Yeah, movie theaters, I don't know how they're going to do during this whole thing. I wonder how many people are going to show up. I'd be curious to know what the attendance rate of movies these days would be. But I'm okay with. I'll just wait till it's on some streaming service. It'll get there eventually. I don't need to go out to the theater. Have you taken out a loan on anything other than a house? That's a good question. No, I haven't. I do use credit cards, which is like mini loans, but I've never carried a balance on one. Pretty much end of every month, even if I owe nothing on the credit card, I will pay it off. That's just routine. So yeah, now we have no loans. We have no debt, which is good, and we don't plan on ever taking out any more loans. We probably... Only situation where we would is if there was a house we really liked or an investment property we wanted to invest in, and then the tenants basically would be paying off the mortgage because the rent would be a certain price and then the mortgage would be a certain price. So then we would like technically have debt, but it's like being paid off by someone else. So how are you paying it off if you owe nothing? Well, we owe nothing now because we paid it off. Oh yeah, the hard-hitting question. Do you like birds? Yeah, birds are cool. I generally like birds. The real ones, that is, right? Penguins are kind of cool. They can't fly, but they move really, really fast underwater. Also, I feel like most birds are pretty. Like, a lot of people consider the pigeon to be kind of like the rat of birds, but if you look at them, like, they have a lot of different colors. Their feathers are usually very nicely cleaned and organized. Like, you ever just get up close to a pigeon, they're pretty. Like, they're a nice looking bird. Although there are some birds that look fake. There are, like, I think they're just called blackbirds. Maybe there's another word for it, but it's not a crow. I'm not talking about a crow. I'm talking about like the really, really little birds that their eyes look like dots. They look like just tiny little white pieces of paper cutouts, and their legs are like super skinny, and they like bounce around. Those birds, I'm like, how did this come to be? Why are you designed in such a way? This is the most boring, unoriginal animal I've ever seen. It's so basic. But yeah, most birds are really cool looking. There was a lot of birds living in our house, actually, which was kind of unfortunate. Right outside, they were nesting in one of the like overhang sections of our roof. Maybe sparrows is the word. That could be it. But they were flying in right near our doorway, and they had kind of a nest up there of a bunch of straw and, you know, what is it called? Weeds and stuff. They had a bunch of it in our overhangs, and we were like, ugh, these birds keep flying in here. And I didn't really mind it at first, but it started getting noisy. And every time they would fly in and out, some of the straw, some of their feathers, all that stuff, it would fall down and go all over our walkway right outside the door. And it would go all over our, you know, we have some shoes out there and stuff like that. And it would just, all this plant life and all this feather, it kept making a mess. And we were like, okay, there's trees around here. I don't know why the birds can't go in those, or they can't go somewhere else. But then it started becoming a problem because I film in the living room for the EV videos. And on certain days where it was cooler out, we would leave the inside door open. We still have a metal screen door there, but that would stay open. and birds would keep flying in and out and in and out and in and out, and they would start chirping really, really loudly, and the microphone would be picking it up. It was really distracting and just annoying that we decided to just clean up the nest. So while the birds were away, we took all the nest and the straw out, and we felt a little bad about it, but we figured, there's no babies in it. There weren't eggs or anything. These were fully grown birds, and they flew around between different trees and that kind of thing. So we cleaned it all out. We got some chicken wire, and we, kind of fenced off that area so the birds can't fly back there anymore. You don't want them nesting in the house. But they were really deep inside the, underhang. It was bad. I have been to national parks. I think I went to I went to Yosemite and probably a few others, but that's the biggest one I can think of. Not recently, though. I have seen Baby Driver. Would you like Edgar Wright to write another one? I wasn't the biggest fan of Baby Driver. It was good. It was well done. But it wasn't mind-blowing to me. To some, maybe it might have been, but I don't know. Would you recommend Mint Mobile? Yeah, I have and can to several people. It's worked great for me. During the first few months of the pandemic, it was all unlimited data too, which was nice. You could use as much data as you wanted, even though Mint doesn't really have a true unlimited data plan, but most people don't use that much data, especially during the pandemic. If you're looking for ways to cut down on spending and just pay for things for the year instead of by the month, that's a better way to do it, I think. You save a lot more that way. It ends up costing like $15 a month, which compared to Verizon and AT&T is kind of hard to beat. Let's see. Have you seen Fat Spider-Man? I think I have. Is that a meme? In which case, yes. There's so many Spider-Man memes, but I do believe I've seen that one. Have you ever tried the Milanese loop? Yeah, a fan sent it to me once. I didn't really like it. It's like it's always pulling out hairs, and oftentimes if I was laying on a couch or something, or I was spending time with Louise, if I wrapped my arm around her, the Milanese loop would yank on her hair. It would like physically hurt her. And she was like, ow, ow. So eventually I just couldn't keep wearing it because it kept annoying me. It would be pulling out my arm hairs, and it would be pulling out Louise's hairs. So I was just like, ugh, I don't want it. Let's see. How good are you at cooking? Not very good. Mostly because I don't have a terrible amount of experience. But, yeah, not very good. I can cook cereal. Also, I can do grilled cheese. I know it's simple and easy, but I can do it. Louise enjoys it. She asks me to do that sometimes. How's the smoke? Not too bad. It's actually clearing up today a little bit. The AQI is 107. And in previous days, it got up to 200, which was really bad. It's still bad. It's not like healthy, but it's not as bad as it used to be. Right now, we're in the zone of unhealthy for sensitive groups, and before we were in the it's unhealthy for everyone. So I'll probably do a vlog on that later about how everything's shut down, basically. Kind of sucks. Like between COVID and the fires and the smoke, you can't really stay outside that much because it's dangerous and bad for your health, and you can't really go inside because everything inside is shut down. So we used to love playing tennis and going on walks and hikes because that was like a healthy and social, distant way to get out of the house. And now we can't even do that because it's too smoky. It's not healthy to go out. So we're pretty much just stuck. This is all we can do. We can pretty much just stay home, watch TV, play games, talk, do videos. But that's about it. We can't really go out much other than, getting groceries and that kind of thing. So yeah, it kind of gets old. It kind of gets tiring. Feels like I'm just very, very excited for 2020 to be over. It just feels like a lot of things this year are just like, can we get this over with? Can we get this over with? But who knows? Maybe that's too pessimistic. Maybe we should, assume we're going to lose more things and just be grateful for what we have. That's where my mentality of I'm going to treat every paycheck like my last thing came from. Just like, you know what? My whole YouTube channel could get shut down next month. So I'm just going to be happy that I have it now and stick with it. What have y'all done to stay sane during Corona? Well, it helps to have Louise because I could spend all day with her nonstop, 24/7, and never get tired of spending time with her. She's funny. We look at memes, go on social media. We play games. We've played Uno. We've played Tongits, which is like a Filipino card game. It might not be exclusive to Filipino, but that's where I learned it, was in the Philippines. And we watch movies, TV. Not a whole lot. There's not really much you can do, but Zachary Stewart super chatted, says, could you share some of your Dave Ramsey habits that you and your wife developed before the pandemic? She's definitely watched or listened to more Dave Ramsey than I have. I'm aware of who he is, and my family's big Dave Ramsey fan, but I kind of I like him. I just don't watch him as closely as maybe others do, but I get the gist of it. I get the gist of, don't spend all your money and you have more money. Yeah, I get it. Mostly just budgeting. I summarize those mostly in the vlogs and the finance tip series type thing. We're trying to set goals for ourselves. Like, this is how much you want to have set aside each month. This is how much you're willing to spend on this, and try to push yourself. Like, past few months, our food budget has been $250. And we've stayed pretty consistent with it. It's been like March through now. We've pretty much always done $250 a month, and we've done pretty well. There were a few times we went a little bit over, but it would sometimes be when, we would take someone else out to eat, or we'd be covering someone else's food, or be watching someone, that occasionally go over, but not by much. But the $250 budget keeps our parameters in check. But then every once in a while, Louise likes to do these like extra budget months where we go a little bit more cautious. So next month, September, we're actually going to do $150. So we're going to try to cut $100 off the food budget and see how we do. And it's not like we suck and we're terrible and we're a failure if we don't achieve it. It's just a goal. And we've done it before. Last October, our food budget was $100, and we did it. We succeeded. It was tough, but we made it work. And then in December, I think it was less than $100. It was more like $50. But we spent a lot of time with family last December, so that kind of offset some of our typical food expenses. So what do you eat? A lot of baked chicken and baked potato. That's really good. We have a lot of pastas, ramen, pork and greens, salads. What else? Sometimes we just have grilled cheese. It's basic, but it's good. It works. What was the most common one? Oh, Louise is really good at homemade pizza. Eventually we should film that. Sounds like a fun goal. Agonizing for myself since I love food. Oh, I love food too. It's not that I enjoy avoiding spending money on food. That's the tricky part. Food is really, really tough because you can never really cut it out entirely. You need to eat. There's no way around that. So it's the only part of your budget you can never really cut out entirely. We cut out Netflix, and we're cutting out Apple Music and Hulu and Amazon Prime, and we cut out about, thanks to Mint and the referral codes, we've cut out our phone bill, which is nice. So now we don't pay anything for phone service. But food is, you're stuck with it. Same with the food isn't as much as everything else, actually. I'm trying to find a good time because, like I said, Louise is working a lot. So when she's done working, she doesn't want to do more work. So it's been kind of hard to find the time. But eventually I want to do a budget breakdown video for us where we pick a month and you guys can see exactly what our not just food, but our entire budget looks like. Last few months have been really, really interesting. So if you look at our spending from earlier this year, it was, thousands of dollars because we had the mortgage and more stuff to pay for just from, living expenses. But now that the house is paid off, food is our biggest expense. Everything else is under $250 a month, whether it be the power bill, the water bill, not counting taxes, of course, but that's kind of its own thing. So yeah, I don't know exactly, but Yeah, that's the budget we want to tackle the most and stay the most on top of, because everything else is kind of fixed. Our water bill even is kind of fixed. You'd think water bill would be more like usage based, like when you use more water, um, your bill goes up. But our water bill has been pretty much the exact same ever since we moved here. It's typically like $20, $20 a month, every single month. So we don't really expect it to go any lower, because even when we use next to no water, it's still $20. I think it's pretty much just a line access, just to be plugged in and getting water. That's how much it costs. The sewer fee is the same. The garbage fee is the same every 3 months. Property taxes currently are the same. Let's see. Only reason I have Netflix is because it's free with T-Mobile. I barely use it. Lots of junk. That's a good deal. I like getting stuff for free. Expensive water. I don't know what you pay for it, but around here that's pretty good. I know a lot of people that pay much more for their water bill than we do. What would you cut your food budget last December? Why would you cut your food budget last December? Just to see if we could do it. It's more just a personal challenge type thing. I mean, I opened up about what I make each year. You guys know that. I disclosed that information. So, for a fact it's not a money problem. You're like, could we afford? We could actually comfortably afford to spend $1,000 a month on food if we wanted to. This is not a good idea. It means you're going to be working a lot longer compared to if you take that money and invest it in something, whether it be a retirement account or a 401k or, in a stock. All kinds of ways you can invest that money, put it towards something else where that money will turn into more money long term, and then you have more passive forms of income, which means that eventually we won't have to work. Not that we're going to stop working, just that we'd have the option to stop working and we wouldn't have to worry about money. Like all of our lively expenses would be covered. Basically, whatever money I make off of YouTube and Twitch and all this, I want to be able to keep it. I don't want it to be going away towards monthly expenses. So budgeting ourselves so we can save more money for investments and that kind of thing is more important, I think. Do you pay taxes or have fun? That's a weird way to phrase it. Yes, we pay taxes. We pay more than we owe just to be safe. In fact, we just got a tax refund a couple weeks ago. The government said we overpaid, so they sent some back. But yeah, it's a lot. The self-employment tax is pretty high in the United States in general, not just California. And yeah, every year we're like, okay, I think this is how much we're going to owe. And then they're like, actually, you owe this much. And we're like, okay. And then we send it all. $20 a month. I mean, it's less than $1 a day for something you need to survive. I think that's pretty cheap. We shower, we wash our clothes, we have a washing machine. We obviously drink tons of water. Less than $1 a day for a basic human necessity. I think that's pretty good. Let's see. Criziel, thank you for the super chat. iPhone 12, no promotion, same notch thoughts. I did a video on that. You should watch it. I'm a little bummed out, but overall, I'm excited, which is cool. Average American water bill is $70 per month. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates the average American family uses 300 gallons of water per day. Wow. That's a lot. I guess we're probably not using as much because there's just two of us. So we probably don't use as much water. Your last video was kind of depressing. Yeah, I know it was. It's kind of sad, but it's positive, I think, in the long run. It's one of those, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing. It's just kind of like a coming of age moment for me. It was actually it was a big relief to make that video because I was thinking about it for a long time, and I was like, is this something I'm still going to try to pursue one day, or is this something I really want to pursue at the end of the day? So yeah, it was kind of a difficult choice, but eventually I was just like, you know what? I think I'll feel better if I just start saying these things out loud and kind of opening it up to you guys, because obviously that subject is very personal, but at the same time it does involve you, the audience. It does involve Tailosive, the network. So it's sad to let go of those kinds of dreams and those kind of goals in your life, but at the same time acknowledging and realizing, hey, even if those things did happen, I don't think I would enjoy it as much as I enjoy this. And I think I want to keep doing this for the long term. So yeah, it was depressing in some ways, but I think uplifting in others. The response to that video was really, really good. I was happy to see how people commented, and I didn't respond to every comment, but I did read every comment. I hope you guys know that. Every story and every big paragraph that people left under that video I read, and hearing everyone else's individual life examples of times where they felt they wanted something and then find out they didn't really want that when they got older, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it was cool. It was I intentionally knew I didn't want it to be edited or have music or intros and outros. It was more of like a serious opening up of the heart and mind type subject that I was like, that's why I also didn't tweet that it was out and that kind of thing. I didn't want to be like, hey everyone, watch this video. I was just like, if they want to click on it, they can, but this is kind of a different one. So I treated it a little differently, but it's not the normal type of video. No, I'm not getting the Nomad wireless charger. I have way too many wireless chargers. In fact, I'm trying to get rid of some, so I'm giving them away to some friends. Let's see. $200 a year in Norway for water? That's, I mean, isn't that like slightly better? Yeah, I guess if we pay $20 a month, that would be $240 a year. So yeah, it's a little bit better. Do you think that video is more of yourself, like in the future you will watch it and look back? Kinda, yeah. I kind of wanted a time, and like this is where I was thinking about it the most. This is where I decided that I wanted to let go of those things. So kind of having a date in a video showcasing what was on my mind. Yeah, it was kind of for me. I think I brought that up in the video. Remember to enjoy the moment with your partner. Remember, there are things you can do only when you are young. That's true. That's very true. We all have very limited time, you know. So making the most of it. You can make as much money as you want, but you can never buy a second of time. That's finite. And a lot of people talk about the world ending and our world coming to an end. And, you know, people have thought the world was going to come to an end ever since the beginning of time, and it hasn't yet. However, for all of us, the world will end eventually when we die. Maybe not for everyone, but for you, that's the end of your world. That's the end of your time. So that's a set day. That's coming, you know. That's eventually going to happen, and you can try your best to push it out by being healthy and prepare and make sure you stay safe and that kind of thing. But ultimately, time's up for everybody at some point. Let's see. I do invest in stocks. Yes, I'm very new at it though, so I wouldn't do videos on explaining how it works or what I recommend, because I'm super new to it. Yeah. I'm not necessarily like an expert in the field, so I'm being hesitant to give advice and that kind of thing. So I'm still learning. Hopefully we can get better. Never seen you go as deep as that video. Yeah, that was some Mariana Trench crap. Yeah. Can you connect the HomePod to Apple TV? Yeah, I used to, actually. It's kind of complicated though, because you have to kind of go to like AirPlay settings and that kind of thing. So I think you have to reconnect it every time. So every time you turn on the Apple TV, you have to go to settings and reconnect it. Unless they've changed the settings, they might have. I don't know, because I don't use the Apple TV that regularly, or the HomePods that regularly. So they might have updated it, but when I used it, at least, you had to go to settings every time you turned on the TV, which was kind of annoying. Let's see. Hard-hitting questions. Thoughts on buying cheese in bulk, i.e. cheese wheels? Ooh. Maybe if you know you're going to be using it, it makes sense. Really, the most logical time to buy things in bulk is when makes sense to buy things in bulk when you know you're going to be using that service or that resource for a long amount of time. So Yeah, I guess if you know you're going to be buying a lot of cheese, you could probably save money that way. Look at the cost per ounce. That's what matters the most. If it's not cheaper to buy in bulk, yeah, I don't get the point. Buy things in bulk that you know you're going to use. Don't buy things in bulk that you think you're going to use and then don't. Some people do that. Have you tried the Poolside FM app? No. I don't really listen to music on my Mac. Oh, Video Awesome is saying the HomePod still has terrible integration with the Apple TV. Okay, I figured. Haven't fixed it yet. Dang it. Oh, well. I have tried the Milanese Loop. I didn't like it. We talked about that. Let's see. Why does America use stupid metrics? I don't know. It's kind of like different metrics from everyone else kind of just comes from tradition, I suppose. Everyone's used to it. It would be really, really nice if everyone could just switch over to one metric, but I mean, we all grew up with different upbringings and different preferences, and this is what we're used to saying, and this is what we're used to saying, and that kind of thing. It's kind of like languages, you know. At the end of the day, there's you know, kilometers versus miles or kilograms versus whatever. But there's certain it's like, why can't we all just speak the same language? It's like, I mean, we could try, but who decides which is which, and do we just go by popularity, the most common language? Everyone should just learn that no matter where you are in the world. You know, it's just kind of a different upbringing thing. It would be nice if we could all adapt to one metric, but I don't think it's that simple. Only the American public uses the imperial system. The government uses metric. Metric is far superior, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really care which. It's all just different metrics. I'd be fine if we all moved to one, but it's not up to me. If I started going around saying those metrics around people, they wouldn't know what I was talking about. It's kind of like trying to get people to move social media platforms, you know. It's really, really difficult to get a bunch of people to all get on board one standard or one thing, you know. That's the issue. How much do I weigh? I think excuse me, last I checked I was around 220. I don't weigh myself that often because it's really kind of a variable that will change a lot and doesn't necessarily mean that much depending on if you're in shape or not. But I have lost weight. I think last year I was over 240. So I guess around 20 pounds. Haven't really been super proactive about losing as much weight as possible because it's not that big a problem for me, but I wanted to lose some weight. I'm still, I think, mildly obese. So I'm not thin. I'm not in shape, but I'm active. I can move around and run and ride bikes and that kind of thing. So, yeah. There's a little bit. Neuralink will fix this problem. Yeah, but that's the thing. It'd be the exact same problem. Even if Neuralink found a way so that everyone could understand different metrics and that kind of thing, not everyone would do Neuralink. So that's the problem. Good to know you do tennis now. Watch the vlogs. They're on the channel. A lot of machinery in the United States uses U.S. metrics for settings. Most machinists use English units. Real engineers, even government, use U.S. measurements. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure certain companies use certain metrics. Certain companies use other metrics. I don't know. It's all over the place. But my point is, if you lived in the U.S., it's kind of like iMessage and WhatsApp, right? Like iMessage is really, really common here, whereas WhatsApp, barely anyone uses it. But if you go overseas, almost everyone uses WhatsApp. It's kind of the same debate with metrics. You could say, like, metric system's better. We should all stick with this. We should move away from imperial. If you started going around and using centimeters instead of feet and inches, people wouldn't understand what you're talking about. They would be like, oh, what's that in feet? You know, like, how tall are you? If you said, 180 centimeters, they'd be like, what? You're what? Or if you started using kilos instead of pounds, you know, people don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't matter if you're right or you're like, well, most of the world uses this. They'd be like, okay, I don't know what that is, though. And lots of people would agree with them. So kind of the issue. Mike is saying, real engineer here, you use both. I guess that's how it works. Yeah, it would be nice if we could all move to one standard, but we can't even get USB-C on the iPhone, so oh well. Hey, Viper's here. What's up, Viper? That's how Viper checks in. He just brings the fire. How did you get rid of psoriasis? I have it too, a little on my head. They really should sponsor me for this. They haven't paid me anything, but it's a injection medicine called Cosentyx. I think it's spelled C-O-S... I forget. Cosentyx. Yeah, Cosentyx, I think it's spelled. But yeah, you can't just pick it up off the shelf. You have to be prescribed for it. So you kind of have to find a dermatologist that will write you a prescription. Because typically companies or either Cosentyx or your insurance will only want to send it to you if they know your psoriasis is bad enough. Because apparently there's a lot of other treatments that insurance companies and brands want you to try before they give you Cosentyx. Yeah, that looks right. Sam has it in the chat. So basically, I went to a dermatologist. They said, try these pills, try this ointment. And I tried it for like 4 months. And since it wasn't working, they were like, okay, now you can have Cosentyx. So it's not the easiest thing to pick off the shelf. But if they can prove that you have it bad enough, they'll send it to you, which is nice. Yeah. I wouldn't trust screenshots on Twitter, guys. We also thought iOS 14 was going to have a redesign wallpaper settings because of leaked screenshots, and those didn't end up happening. So I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I will believe it when Apple comes out on stage and says it, but if they haven't, then I'm not going to believe it. Let's see. iPad Pro is out of stock in most of Apple stores. Any reason if demand is high or production problems? I would guess production problems. There's not likely to be another iPad Pro refreshed soon, so I don't think something coming out quickly. Let's see. You telling me the Chrome deleted made in China Model 3 could be fake? No, that's not a screenshot. That's a real picture. That's different. Also, the Apple leak community has gotten way out of control this year. I don't know what it is about this year that's so different, but now it feels like everybody wants to leak stuff, and there's so much misinformation. So many people have gotten stuff wrong, and so many people don't know what they're talking about. I think everyone's just trying to be the next Coin X, where they're like, I have an inside source, and I've seen dozens and dozens of Twitter accounts that claim to be leakers now, and then they tweet obvious crap so that they can say they're right just by agreeing with other leakers. And then Apple releases stuff and it's all wrong and it's all different, or leakers change their mind at the last second. The problem is people get way too vague and they sit in the middle all the time, keep saying, it might happen, might not happen, might happen, might not happen. And I'm like, you don't know. Just say you don't know if you don't know. If you know something, say something, and if you don't say anything. Otherwise, it's just talk. It's just noise. It's not useful information. So yeah, I think there's way too many. Tesla, though, there's not that many leakers. That's not really much of a thing. Most other communities in general, like, there's not that many fake Pixel leakers. If there's a leak about the Pixel, it's probably true. Same with Tesla. If there's a leak about they're adding something in manufacturing, or here's a leaked photo of the Model 3 with a powered frunk, sorry, I keep saying frunk. It's trunk. It's trunk. They don't have a powered frunk. Usually when you see that kind of thing, you're like, all right, it's probably real. There's not really much to gain by being wrong about that because it's not coming from anyone asking for followers. It's an anonymous source contacting a journalist site with evidence. It's like, okay, that's probably real. Apple leaks, though, are all over the place. Everyone keeps saying random crap and contradicting each other. And fake until proven. Yeah, really. Chris Norton, thank you for the super chat. Again, appreciate it. Exactly. iPhone 12 confirmed to have logic board. iPhone 12 will have camera. I'm not joking. I literally saw a leaker. I'm trying to remember who it was on Twitter. But it wasn't like a parody account. This was like a confirmed, like, people follow this account expecting updates and looking for reports. There was actually a leaker that said the next iPhone will be running iOS. That was like one of their listed features. And I was like, are we counting this now? Is this what a leak is? It gets so silly. Ugh. Oh my god. It will have a processor inside. Yes. New iPhone will have a processor. Oh my god. Yeah, it's getting so out of control. I think there's too many leakers. I kind of give props to OnLeaks because I think I saw, he was the one responsible for the iPhone 11 design last year. We pretty much all knew what the iPhone 11 looked like because of OnLeaks. And this year he decided not to do anything. He didn't really do much iPhone leaks other than the SE. And I think he responded to it in a reply saying there's too many people doing iPhone leaks and I'd rather just sit back and watch this year because there's too much noise, too many people trying to do it at the same time. And I was like, okay, respect. I appreciate that. I like when people acknowledge how a community or a market kind of is. That's how I kind of feel about like sponsorships and stuff, is like everyone's doing it, so I'm going to try to not do it. Because you may think of it as just, well, it's only 30 seconds or it's only 10 seconds of ad space. It's like, yeah, but when everyone does it, it becomes super duper common, and it gets kind of annoying for people who watch lots of YouTube. So I'll try to not do it. I kind of felt like that's what OnLeaks was doing. He's just like, you know what, this year I'll take a step back. Too many people. Let's see. Wait, I thought new iPhones were switching to Android. Right. This year, Apple's like, we've decided to make an Android phone. We're so excited. You still can't watch 4K YouTube on Apple TV? I thought they changed that. At least in the developer beta, I read they changed that. The real OG hipster and not having sponsors. The podcast can have sponsors because that's, Nick and Randy are making that, and there's not a ton of ways to monetize it. Unlike YouTube, where there's built-in ads, but of course not. Did you think this was the Blackmagic? No, this is the iMac Pro webcam, obviously. Come on. Are you yanking my crank? Are you getting the first Mac with Apple Silicon no matter what? Yeah, I'll probably get one to review. I don't know if I'll keep it. I don't care if you wouldn't mind. I would mind, Joseph. You don't speak for everyone necessarily. Some people are like, I wouldn't mind if you have sponsors, but other people would really mind. And they kind of appreciate that there's no sponsors. I'm one of those people. Hey, I'm not that smart. It's okay, Sam. Maybe it's not that you're unsmart. It's just that the iMac Pro webcam looks just that good. That's not a negative to the Blackmagic. It's just saying how good the iMac Pro camera is, which is kind of cool. I still think the new iPhone 12 is going to have the power cable in the block. Well, I hope you're right. A lot of people seem to think otherwise, but yeah, I'm okay if they don't have it. I wouldn't mind Drew buying a Tesla Semi. His bank account might, though. That's true. That would not bother Mike, right? I don't think it would bother anyone if I bought a Tesla Semi. People would just be like, dang, that's cool. But that's it. Do you use Siri? What to do to fix it? I don't have an issue with Siri. She does everything I need. Thank you, Chris Norton. Chris Norton dropping today's latest Apple leaks. Confirmed, iPhone will be a phone. The next iPhone will have the ability to make phone calls. Very impressive. Oh, my God. These leaks. There's too many of them. The leaks are going to get really boring next year. Let's see. If there's a company you support and like to use, I'm sure people wouldn't mind. Yeah, they mind, including me. It's different. You can recommend a company without doing a sponsorship. It's the idea that you're recommending them and they're paying you directly financially, they're not giving you something for free. No, they're just straight up offering you money so that you say something. That it just comes off differently. It just does. It will always come off differently. Even if you like it. Just the fact that you're getting paid means you have to legally disclose that. If there's no 120 hertz, then you have to include something extra. Yeah, it's going to be LiDAR. That's what it is. Let's see. The iPhone 12 will come out after the iPhone 11. Wow. I think so. You would think the most boring year, or is at least it gets more boring, there would be less leaks. It's not actually that boring. I think all the new stuff you're just used to already. For someone who hasn't been following the leaks, there's actually a bunch of new stuff. OLED standard is a big change for people. That wasn't a thing before. The updated design language is going to be very noticeable and stand out to people. You may be used to it because you've been watching videos all year, so you know it's going to look like that, but the rest of the market doesn't. Not everyone else knows what it looks like. And the new form factors, the smaller iPhone, the bigger iPhone, those are all brand new things to people. It may seem like a boring year because to you that's been a thing for, since the beginning of the year, but to everyone else that's not known yet. That's going to be fresh and new come October. They're going to be like, "Whoa, there's a new iPhone. It looks like that, and it's got OLED, and it's cheaper, and squared edges and smaller, and it'll be a bunch of whole can of new for them." Let's see. That's a banging webcam. I agree. I think more Macs need this type of webcam. Let's see. What did someone say? If I can make money on an app store with my little games, then Epic can make money on App Store too. Rudolph has games on the App Store? That's cool. Huh. Yeah, I don't really take Epic's side on this side of the lawsuit. It seems like the judge has actually been pretty fair, because Apple said they were going to revoke people from using Unreal Engine, which I was like, ooh, okay. Well, I was okay with you blocking Fortnite. I don't know about Unreal Engine, though. That's a lot more people. And the judge was basically like, okay, you can't block Unreal Engine, but you can block Fortnite. And I was like, okay. That's actually a case ruling that I can get behind. I'm like, yeah, that seems fair. I get that. So, sounds like Fortnite might stay off the App Store unless they cave in. It'd be really funny if Epic decided to follow Apple's rules and take the 30% cut and then just come back to the App Store. Are they going to act like Apple freed Fortnite, even though Apple didn't do anything? What would happen if Epic just caved in and said, okay, we'll take the 30% cut because we don't want to get permanently banned? So they come back on the store. They're like, hey, we freed Fortnite, everyone. We did it. And Apple's like, we didn't do anything. You just broke the rules, so we blocked you, and then you changed your app so you weren't breaking the rules anymore, and then you're back. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it was a bunch of wasted energy if they came back. I don't think they will. I think they're too petty. I don't think they'll come back. But it would be funny if they did. Oh, well. He has the first real video of an iPhone 12. Didn't he also say he has a video of Apple Glass? Did we ever get the Apple Glass video? He also said he would give us a video of AirPower, but I never got that one. I don't know. I think there's a little too many promises in the leak game right now. I don't know. I thought we would have gotten those videos by now. That video came out like 4 months ago. Apple Glass is probably happening. It's just not. It's not soon. I would imagine it's a few years out. Hey, sup, hey, hi's in the chat. You came in right at the end. I'm about to sign off, but haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're okay. We're in a crazy world. Sup. For those who don't know, he's a fan from way back. I think you were watching in the early Attic days. Long-term viewer. Jordan's topic says, you inspired me to be a YouTuber. Oh, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it works out for you. And yeah, I hope you can find it fulfilling. Hopefully, you can feel like it's productive and gratifying, because I don't want to inspire people to do something they don't enjoy, if possible. Let's see. Doing good. Hope you and your family are as well. Yeah, we're doing okay. Everyone's okay here, but just kind of staying home, away from the smoke. Anyway, thank you all for the super chats today and for watching the vids. I appreciate all of you, even the haters. And thanks for tuning in. And I'll probably catch you next week. Wow, it'll be September in less than a week. Holy crap. I'm excited because I want this year to be over. Can we be done with 2020 yet? Or what? Oh, well. Thank you all for tuning in, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye, y'all.